I am Blake Sinclair, WBFF PRO, and welcome to my first Q&A. So I'm going to be doing these Q&As hopefully once a week, and I'm just going to elaborate on everyone's questions that they submit through Instagram. And let's get started. What would be the most effective way to help with my progress and arm growth? Best tip I can give you is if you have a lacking body part, whether it be arms, back, shoulders, whatever it is, increase frequency and emphasize progressive overload. So aim to lift heavier each week, and if you've got a lacking body part, train it twice a week. How to fix imbalances in left and right lats. So I covered this, and it's something I used to think I had. I used to think I had imbalances in my lats. I thought one was bigger than the other, when at the end of the day it is most likely just tie-ins. Every muscle ties in differently. Although it is just back, your left and right lat will tie in at different points, and this will cause you to think you have an imbalance or one lat bigger than the other, and it'll be more prominent if you are more sort of anal or OCD about it. But if you have a genuine imbalance, train that muscle group with a lot of isolation movements. I would recommend single hand unilateral movements like pull downs and rows with a greater emphasis on the lacking side. Can an ectomorph gain at least 10 pounds in a month without supplements? No. If a seasoned bodybuilder or anyone, a newbie, were to gain 10 pounds, that's 4.5 kilos in a year. That'd be incredible. 4.5 kilos of muscle mass is actually a lot of muscle. Between shows, or in about a year, I genuinely, I'd be happy to put on about 4 kilos, and that's because I know what I'm doing. I'm training day in, day out, and I'm dieting day in, day out with a specific goal in purpose. So I'm very driven when I do this, and I know what I'm doing. So no, I would say impossible. A month, impossible. How can I increase speed of gaining? So eat more. Increase the intensity of training and eat more. So put yourself in a caloric surplus through carbohydrate manipulation once your protein and fats are sufficient. So if you've got enough protein and fats, I like to do about 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight, and then I like to do about 0.75 grams of fat per kilo. I know the conversions are a little different there, but once you've reached those, then I like to just increase my calorie surplus through carbohydrates. So, and make sure you're training intense enough. If your training is piss weak, you are just going to put on fat. Your surplus is not going to be going to any benefit. You're going to put on weight, and you are just going to, waste your bulk. How to increase body weight? Same answer. Increase the food. Eat more. What are my views on steroid use in a non-competitive scene? Now, this is probably a controversial question, but in no way am I condoning, encouraging, or recommending the use of any performance-enhancing drug. But I think outside of competition, there are tons of remedial and medical benefits. Most steroids came about to help with remedial purposes. DECA used to be used to help with the prevention of osteoporosis and prevention of bone loss. Testosterone is prescribed to people with low testosterone levels, either from birth or just due to aging. And if you have stunted growth, HCG is prescribed to you by doctors. So uneducated and idiots give these things a bad name, but there are tons and tons of medical uses, legitimate uses for these things. Cortisone is a steroid. So people don't know what they're talking about. People misuse these things, which give it a bad name and make people think they're horrible. So I think outside of competitive sports, there are tons and tons of uses for them, and these should only be sort of administered or, prescribed under the supervision of a doctor or a healthcare professional. But that is just my personal opinion. I think there is definitely a place for them in the world. How can I lose weight without supplements? Easy, man. So put yourself in a caloric deficit. Now, like I said in the previous question, make sure your protein and fat requirements are met, and induce a deficit by lowering carbohydrates every time you hit a plateau. So if you are losing weight on, let's say, just like 300 grams of carbs, and that works for 2 weeks, and then you hit week 3 and you plateau. Drop your carbs a little bit to 275, 250, and then continue from there. Plans for elastic band training? Put them in the bin. I'm not a big advocate at all for bands. I think they're good for activation, and I think they're good for intensity techniques, but I would never recommend a solely banded exercise routine. It's stupid. Tips for training with tendonitis: avoid any movement that causes impingement, inflammation, or pain, or else you could make this chronic issue a lot worse. I would say seek physio's assistance and just work around your injury. I've had bursitis, and it comes back due to certain exercises, but tendonitis, bursitis, a tennis elbow, all of these things can be worked around. I would say if you ever do injure it, act quickly, get some good anti-inflammatories, possibly cortisone shots, use supplements like Capzia, which is great, it's like a deep heat alternative, and just really take care of it, but you can work around it. But again, seek out a physio's opinion. Injured my shoulder doing chest flies, I guess shoulder impingement, any fast solutions. Avoid the injury which gave you that impingement. Like I said, I've injured my shoulder. I did it during a incline movement, and to sort of help the healing process, I just avoided incline movements. I avoided anything that put a large load on my front delt, and it went away in a couple of weeks. If you continue to push through sort of any tendon-related injury, you can get chronic symptoms, meaning that it will never leave. So bursitis is treatable and preventable, but if you get chronic bursitis, or say chronic tennis elbow or anything like that, you're not going to be able to shake it. It's going to be something you are stuck with. So if you injure yourself, take the appropriate measures, go see a physio, make sure you just handle the inflammation and avoid anything that is going to be causing inflammation or pain. Use common sense. If it hurts, stop doing it. Anyway, guys, those are the best questions I got. If you have any further questions, shoot me a message on Instagram. My name will be somewhere up here. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you got any more questions, comment below, or just shoot me a question on Instagram.